Hello, my name is Joshua Mugabi. I welcome you to Movement of Substances. Bingo! Without wasting any of our time, let's go directly to our quiz. The taking in of heat, fluid, gases, and nutrients by cell through its membrane. Indigestion, the taking in by blood and lymph system of the end products of digestion. Those are monosaccharides, amino acids, fatty acids, and glycerol. A. Absorption. B. Dehydration. C. Active transport. D. Haemolysis. And the answer is A. Absorption. Cannot be penetrated by particles of solids or liquids. A. Tagged. B. Osmotic pressure. C. Impermeable. D. Plasmolysis. And the answer is C. Impermeable. Usually precedes the process. These processes require energy in the form of ATP, which is released from glucose in the mitochondria during the process of respiration. Oxygen is usually required. A. Haemolysis. B. Active. C. Concentration. D. Deplasmolysis. And the answer is B. Active. A solution with a lower solute concentration than the surrounding solution. A. Hypotonic. B. Passive. C. Isotonic. D. Hypotonic. And the answer is D. Hypotonic. The taking in of mineral ions from the soil by the roots of plants. This requires energy in form of ATP. The presence of oxygen in the soil is also required for respiration by the root cells to produce the A. Active absorption. B. Passive. C. Absorption. D. Crenation. And the answer is A. Active absorption. A solution with higher salt concentration than the surrounding solution. A. Hypotonic. B. Concentration. C. Hypotonic. D. Crenation. And the answer is C. Hypertonic. The movement of substances, those are solutes and ions, from a region of low concentration, which is hypotonic, to a region of high concentration, which is hypertonic, against the concentration gradient through a semi-permeable membrane, that is a cell membrane. It requires the use of energy in form of ATP by the cell. ATP is a product of respiration. Respiration usually requires oxygen and occurs in the mitochondria. A. Osmotic pressure. B. Active transport. C. Plasmolysis. D. Passive transport. And the answer is B. Active transport. The bursting of red blood capsule with the release of hemoglobin, achieved by placing red blood capsules in a solution, which is hypotonic to the cell sap. A. Deplasmolysis. B. Crenation. C. Plasmolysis. D. Haemolysis. And the answer is D. Haemolysis. All cells in the body are bathed in this fluid called dash. It is similar to blood plasma, but without the plasma proteins. Substances in the blood diffuse through capillaries into the fluid and then into the cells. Cellular waste products diffuse in the reverse direction. A. Tissue fluid. B. Hypertonic. C. Hypotonic. D. Solution. And the answer is A. Tissue fluid. The movement of solute from a region of high solute concentration to a region of lower solute concentration. No permeable or semi-permeable membrane is necessary for this process to occur. No energy used by the cell in this process, i.e., it is passive. Examples are gaseous exchange in alveoli, absorption through villi of small intestine. A. Absorption. B. Diffusion. C. Haemolysis. D. Osmosis. And the answer is B. Diffusion. Force with which molecules of the same substances stick to each other. A. Isotonic. B. Crenation. C. Cohesion. D. Deplasmolysis. And the answer is C. Cohesion. The opposite of plasmolysis The cell membrane moves towards the cell wall as a result of water being drawn into the cell by osmosis. The cell gradually becomes tagged, achieved by placing a plant cell in a solution that is hypotonic to the cell sap. A. Dehydration. B. Crenation. C. Cohesion. D. Deplasmolysis. And the answer is D. Deplasmolysis. Most acceptable theory of water movement through a plant, based on cohesive force of water, i.e., the force of attraction between water molecules is great enough to maintain a continuous column of water. A. Cohesion-tension hypothesis. B. Plasmolysis. C. Tag pressure. D. Deplasmolysis. And the answer is A. Cohesion-tension hypothesis. The losing of water by cells or molecules. A. Crenation. B. Dehydration. C. Active transport. D. Haemolysis. And the answer is B. Dehydration. The amount or number of molecules of a solvent which is dissolved in a solute. A. Hypotonic. B. Isotonic. C. Concentration. D. Hypertonic. And the answer is C. Concentration. The production of notched edges on red blood capsules by drawing water from them by osmosis, achieved by placing red blood cells in a solution that is hypertonic to the cell cytoplasm. A. Hypotonic. B. Haemolysis. C. Crenation. D. Hypertonic. And the answer is C. Crenation. The difference in the concentration or number of molecules between two different areas. The greater the difference, the faster the rate of movement of molecules will be. For example, diffusion, active transport, etc. A. Isotonic. B. Concentration gradient. C. Plasmolysis. D. Hypertonic. And the answer is B. Concentration gradient. Dear friends, Thank you very much for participating in the movement of substances. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. I'm Joshua Mugabi. Bye bye for now.